everyone. Welcome to People on Dating YouTube show. I'm your host, William Morales. And on today's show, I have my good friend, Liz. Liz, how are you?
Hello.
So today's episode is very interesting, right, Liz? Liz, we're talking about dating during COVID. And, I don't know about you, but, a couple of my friends try to hook me up. And I said, thanks, but no thanks right now. I think I'm gonna wait until, I got vaccinated, and I still want to wait. I'm still not comfortable.
Yeah, there's a lot of controversy behind that, and I agree with you. It's you're really, really risking a lot with a stranger. I mean, it's really not feasible to go from 0 to 100 with COVID still, the pandemic still on, and the lockdown and everything. So there's different ways to really get to know people. And I've always felt that whatever you love doing physically, like a sport or something outdoors, you really garner like-minded people.
Yeah.
You get to know people that way.
And it's funny because we've known people in our circles, so to speak, that met during COVID and became, whether they became more friends or they started dating. We saw that, and I saw that too near where I live at, where during the period this past year, at least one or two of my friends hooked up. And but how do you approach that subject? Like, what do you say? It's like at work when I shook, I think it was a nurse's hand. And I said, listen, I got vaccinated. She goes, yeah, I did too. And then we shook hands, like we met.
Right.
Isn't it tough to navigate right now, especially obviously with what's happening, but how do you approach that subject? What do you say? What do you do?
Well, I think a friend of mine just posted a little cartoon that in the future going forward, when you meet someone you think they're going to date, the first question you ask is, vaccinated?
Yeah, I think
Which
that's
is, it's an icebreaker, and it's good to know. And hopefully people are going to be honest enough with you. And you really have to, I think, feel people out and get to know their lifestyle. Do they have risky kind of like characteristics?
Yeah.
You know, what's their Bible as far as hygiene is concerned? What do they deem important as far as health is? Are they vegans? Do they exercise? Do they feel good? Do they have issues? I mean, of course, you don't want to overstep and just throw that all out at someone.
Yeah. You're
put
getting so
time.
personal. Yeah, you're getting so personal. But and sometimes I think about it. When we go, whether we go to a bank for a business loan or whatever. I mean, my God, they can, or not even. Let's say for me, for instance, right? I'm getting a new apartment. I think I told you that.
Right.
And they ask pretty much, I think everything except my parents' birth date. You
Right.
know, so they get personal just as much as anybody does. But it seems like for us to ask somebody, hey, did you get vaccinated? Did you were you sick? Now it's like I have to tell people, I had it it was a mild case of it, but I had it. I remember I told a friend of mine, she goes, you didn't say anything? I'm like, well, we didn't hang out till May. I was by the beginning of April, I was fine. It was a mild case I had. And I said, did I hang out with you? Yes. Did you get sick? She goes, no. I said, oh, I was around my family. And I asked her, did they get sick? And she says, no. I'm like, well, then you had nothing to worry about.
Well, it's paramount in everyone's mind. And, of course, the news and the media, fake news and everything, you hear all these different stories. Just now I read something that a friend of mine just got vaccinated. He got his second vaccination,
Yeah.
vaccine. And he said he had his replacement hip was hurting him, his joints were hurting him, he was miserable, and then that snowballs with people, and everybody else got on, and it's different for everybody. You have to realize that, it's just like, just keep calm.
I
you
mean,
know
when I got the shot the first time, I had a little reaction where I had a little fever. I got it on a Wednesday, and I remember Thursday evening, I felt warm. I took a Motrin, and the next day, Friday morning, I was fine. My arm was hurting like hell, was sore, but I
right.
was fine. The second shot, which I took 3 weeks later at the end of January, I had no reaction. I'm gonna be honest with you, Liz. I don't even remember the nurse putting the injection in my arm. I didn't even feel it. So, I'm looking straight ahead. I'm just relaxing, and she goes, "Okay, we're done." I'm like, Did I get the shot? I don't even remember. But anyway, just getting back to our topic, how again, when a couple of my friends wanted to say, "Hey, I want you to meet someone," I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm like, nah, COVID. I'm just not ready, until and now we have to be honest, like you said, is like, hey, did you get vaccinated? But make it like an icebreaker, I guess,
Right.
not to offend someone, make it into an icebreaker.
Yeah, you really want to hear their version of how they feel. I mean, there's a lot of anti-vaxxers out there too, but yeah, I think that's a fair question right now. I mean, everybody's on lockdown. I don't know if a lot of people are dating, online dating. I mean, that's the safest, right? But
Yeah,
is
right.
that really? I mean, when you get online, is that people show you the face they want you to see? It's like, what's up, how you do, it's like you go on, and then you have conversations, and those conversations, slowly reveal the person's personality, and you take it from there. And if you want to take a chance to kind of go through the next step, maybe meet somewhere for a coffee. You don't want, like, again, you don't want to go from 0 to 100.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
See how they are, how they, you know, body language, eye contact. You surmise, you just take it easy, one step at a time. There's no rush.
No, especially now. I mean, you got to take your time. You got to get to know someone, and again, we keep on going back to it. But in this day and age, you have to be careful. And I mean, like I said, in our inner circle, we hung out and we saw a lot of people wearing masks. Some people not wearing masks. Some people hooking up. Some people not hooking up. Again, I think going forward, it just has to be said. Hey, were you okay during COVID? Did you get sick? Did you get the shots? What's going on? And because we have to say it, life and death is at stake here.
Yes. And I think a lot of the conversation should be oriented around, oh, how did were you on lockdown? How did you feel about, did you spend time alone? I think that's a strong characteristic. If you're not letting, I mean, it's serious. You get
Yeah.
lonely, you need conversation, you know any kind of insertion of people and laughter. I mean, we all need this. But if you can find somebody that's, well, I felt a little lonely, and I did this, I worked out, or I was working from home. You get to find out how people react to different situations, and it's very telling.
And this was a big one because like you said, a lot of people were lonely. Some people, they went stir crazy being in their home for a couple of months or whatever. I mean, I have one friend that was working from home that she couldn't take it anymore, that she asked her boss, let me come in a couple of days a week, because she
Right.
wanted to be out in the street. Now, as we see, the restaurants are open up now. I think it's 35% capacity. um so we're seeing more and more a little bit of letting go. I mean, it's still a long way to get the 100% capacity, but again, when I go out, I see couples now. I never think about it. Do I say, hey, did they meet during COVID, or were they dating before COVID? What's going on? And that goes through now. It's going more and more through my mind, especially with this topic that we're talking about, because again, it's a matter of safety, and we have to be upfront and if the other person gets offended, I don't know what else to do, or what else to say.
Well, you got to keep an open mind, of course. And I know you, you know me, and we like to laugh. I mean, that's a great stress reliever. And like I said, it's like-minded people. You like to do certain activities, biking or roller skating, whatever it is, and it really shows you who the person is. But it's really a matter of getting to know them. I mean, like
Yeah.
I said, online is safe if you want to try that online dating and get to know people. And if it progresses from there, great. If you want to go meet somewhere with a 6 feet apart distance,
Yeah.
have that conversation, either that, or if it doesn't work out, you can just close the lid of your laptop. I gotta go now. I think my toilet is overflowing.
Well, now we're seeing. I mean, I know I see now more and more meetups that are doing online dating. They're having all these meetups and all that. I mean, I'm more of a person that likes to be at an event than being online. But like you said, which is a good point, meet online. It's safe. No money's being spent, and you're not having any type of contact. You're obviously you're way more than 6 feet apart. and,
Absolutely.
and then from there, like you say, if you decide to do something, then hey, let's meet for coffee and let's see where it goes. But I think at this day and age, we just got to be careful. You got to know what you're doing. Uh, you're not offending anybody by asking them a question. Hey,
No, not at all. Not at
yeah,
all. I think
yeah.
more and more people should be, on top of it. You just really want to find out how the other person is reacting to this whole thing. It's really telling, like we said before, how people are reacting, how they're keeping busy, how could they and they're entertaining themselves, or I'm learning Salesforce. I had an opportunity, we discussed that, to learn a new application. So, and how to build an application. That's that's huge. It's a huge plus. And you can learn that way. You can meet people that way also. You can become a consultant and really work from your home. And it's a new career. But there's a million things you could do. And you can even go for a walk in the park. The weather is getting better, it's getting warmer. You can keep distance apart, and
Yeah.
there's a million things you could do. And interestingly enough, I think people are even gathering in kind of safe groups and walking in the park or going bicycling. And a lot of people are taking up roller skating because you can do that alone.
I remember last year, I think it was in the summer, might have been in May or June, I can't remember exactly. I saw people in the park just sitting together, uh, m- most not wearing masks, and they were just picnicking, you know? And so you're still at the beginning of COVID, whether it started in February, but you got March, April, May, June, only 4 months maybe into the season, into the pandemic, and people are just hanging out and really not caring, because like I said, that group of people that I saw, none of them were wearing masks. And at that stage of the disease, of the pandemic, you have to at least take care of yourself, at
Listen,
least care about the person next to you.
those people are in denial. you know,
Yeah.
they're in denial, and some of the people that are like going to underground rave parties or whatever they're having,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's like Neil deGrasse Tyson said, it's having, relieving the restrictions of not wearing a mask and indoor dining, or just Some states are not even requiring for you to wear masks at all. It's like going to a public pool and peeing and not thinking it's going to affect everybody.
Good analogy, Liz.
It's like you got a point there. Seriously, I don't know. I don't know if people are. They're probably in denial, and unfortunately, it's affecting everyone. Their haphazardness and laissez-faire attitude is not helping the situation. We all, know of different countries that didn't have anywhere near the death rate that America and Europe had.
Yeah.
A lot of people went to, I think, Australia. I think is one place that didn't have. They must have taken precautions early and seen it coming and had a better leader. Okay, took things. Uh, let's not go there, but took precautions and did what was necessary for the safeguard of his constituents.
Yeah.
It's just insane that it went this far, but it is what it is now. And at this stage, I can't, like I said, if people are not adhering to the restrictions or at least wearing a mask, then yeah, I don't want to be anywhere around you. And it's disturbing because, as I said, as I gathered in Central Park last year, it was. I noticed a lot of people just didn't keep their distance, and I kept moving back. They kept moving forward.
And
They
it,
have a
yeah.
mask on, and then I wanted to tell them, "Stamata."
And on top of that, then they want to hug you and all that. And
Exactly.
you're like, whoa,
You
you
know,
can say hi, you can wave to me, it's all good.
I told my niece's 8-year-old, we had a family Zoom, and I said to my niece, "Well, where's your oldest daughter?" And she says, "Oh, she's in the bathtub." She says she's taking a bath because we went out to our hallway to give our elderly neighbor a plate of food, and the neighbor hugged her, and she got freaked out and and was soaking in the tub for 20 minutes. So when she finally came out, her oldest, I said, "Look, it's okay to tell people, grown people, I don't want to be hugged.
Yeah.
I don't want you to hug me. It's okay." You have to instill that in kids and remind, even I'm guilty of that. I don't remind people, "Oh, don't hug me." I say it once, but then they forget. And it's like,
Yeah. It's such a
you
natural
know,
reaction to like hug somebody, shaking hands and I mean, listen, I did it during the summer and I didn't even think twice, but like I said, the people that we hung out with, you nobody got sick, thank God, in our group. But again, like just going forward, it should be interesting. Like I said, I have a friend of mine that he met someone and now he's they're taking the next step where they're going to probably live together and you know uh so far they're okay, they haven't been sick, but going forward again, it's just we're not out of the woods yet.
right, right. When
We still
it
got a
was,
ways to go. People, like I had a self quarantine last March at this time, pretty much the last 15 days of March. We don't want to go backwards. We want to go forwards, and
exactly,
and like you said, hey, meet someone online if you want to, if that's your thing, and then from there, if you feel safe, then go to the park. Like you said, it's getting warmer now. You can meet in the park or wherever you are. Just meet somewhere and just stay your distance. I'm sitting here. You sit 3 or 4 feet away from me. I'm good until we know.
exactly.
Or show me your papers.
That's right. Where's that card with the stamp on it?
Yeah, where is it? Let me
I'll be a
see that.
Presbyterian, and you got
Yeah,
that.
exactly. Where you say, see, fully vaccinated. Okay,
That's
so then we're
right.
good. All right, we're good. Let's
I'm
now.
gonna carry that around, and I'm like, here's my.
Yeah.
But even with the card, I mean, like, they say, okay, you still have to adhere. I mean, stay away for at least 2 weeks after the vaccination, and then you still have to wear the mask. Nothing is perfect. Okay,
Yeah.
let's just all calm down and try to do the right thing here, you know? As far as your friend, I mean, okay, you know, if you guys want a homestead and, you know, I don't know how long it's been, I can't speak on that, but for me, I would be wary. I mean, you know, like I said, there are things that you can do if you're, you know, you feeling lonely or whatever. Call up a friend, have a Zoom call, have some wine, have a party on Zoom, you know, and then tell some jokes, text your friends, put some jokes up. You know, it's going to be okay.
it,
You
and,
don't
and
have to do anything erratic.
and this is the perfect time where social media comes into play. You got Zoom, you got Facebook. I mean, if you got friends on Facebook, just go back and forth, and you know, you text each other, call each other, Zoom each other. There's ways to get over this if you can. Not all. Well, let me not speak for anybody else, but for me, I didn't mind being home. I got to do some work. I got to relax. I slept my ass off when I got sick. I never
Yeah,
took so many naps in my life. But
yeah,
to be honest with you, the group that we have and the friends that I have, I was fine. You know, I got over very quickly. I didn't even think about it, you know, being locked home. Again, I just did what I had to do. And, you know, that's why we have a cell phone. That's why we have the internet. And, you know, and this, oh my God, there's a thousand ways to communicate, you know. And I think going forward, like you said, let's be careful. Let's, you know, we're not out of the woods yet. And then from, you know, once this is at least down to a certain level where now we're going from 35% capacity to 50%, 75%. Now we see that maybe we could now gather together and hang out and maybe hook up with somebody, you know, or at least start dating somebody.
well, start dating a couple of people.
There you go, Liz.
How you doing, you know? But yeah, you know, it's, I mean, I walk around town. I went to the Upper West Side, and well, you know, I'm in Harlem, but I went down to, like, I think it was 110th Street to get some food, and I stopped to get some lottery tickets at a kiosk. And this guy, this older man, was like, "Oh, you know, I'm not too lucky with these things. This guy is, I'm giving him the numbers. He's giving me another number." I said, "Well, maybe you'll win with his number, you know." And then so he takes the opportunity to say, "Well, if I do, maybe I can meet you here next week." I'm like, "Good luck."
Go ahead.
Uh, you know, people are, you know, this is what people do. You know, you try to strike up a conversation and you be friendly, and all of a sudden you test the waters and maybe you can go a little further.
Yeah, isn't that the
Like,
truth? Yeah.
you know, and you feel people out, but it's a process. You know, it's a whole process. I think what's essential in relationships is that you're an active listener, and you can really connect with someone through listening to them and making eye contact and nodding, and either, you know, giving your whole perspective on the topic, or just keep it light and keep it laughing. You know, do you like Bill Maher? I think he's funny. He said this, blah 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 blah. You know, back and forth. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
just see what happens, and you know, try not to let the conversation dry up. And but if you do, you find that you don't have things in common, you know,
You
well,
gotta
then
move on. See
move on
ya.
to the next one, you know,
Yeah.
and
I mean,
things
it,
like that. But you know, it's essential because you want to know about people's past. You want to know what how they feel about relationships. You know, you kind of ease into the you know, do they have issues? Were they left at the altar?
you getting deep, Liz.
You know, you never know. You know, you start talking to people, and then, like, you know, all of a
Their
sudden,
life story will come
you
out.
know, it's a vindictive thing. Hey, it wasn't me. You know,
Yeah, exactly. Don't take it out on me, man. I'm just here right now.
but that's human nature. You know, people,
Yeah.
if they move on before they do a self assessment, and you know, even therapy, it has a stigma. It's just really, I think it's really beneficial for people to have a little therapy and a little awareness as to how they feel about themselves and what their trigger points are, and what are the issues, or do they have issues? Are they
Right.
willing to work on their issues? I mean, that gets a little cerebral, I know. But at this point in our lives, I think a little therapy, individual therapy or group therapy, really goes a long way.
Yeah, I think a group therapy would be good, because you can air out whatever differences you may have, not even with the other person, but just what you're going through. Hey, I did this. It's like a episode that I think it was episode 3, where we talk about what you bring to the table, and
Right.
and we had, well, I'm working full time, and but you're not. So what are you going to bring to the, everybody has their issue, their ups and downs, their, I mean, it's part of life, right, Liz? I mean, this is an everyday thing, and it's just a matter of, just like I said, having a conversation, and you hopefully the other person is truthful with you and say, "Hey, listen, this is what I went through. This is what I'm going through. Bear with me." And if you're the person, you love that person, you want to be with that person, you give them the benefit of the doubt and say, "Hey, okay, I'm here if you need me."
Right. And there's, but it's rare though. A lot of people, they're really frightened. A lot of people don't believe in therapy, and they just keep making the same mistakes over and over again. It's sad to watch.
And they're not aware
Sometimes
of
you
it
see
either.
people, still hating on their ex-wife, and angry, and it's your choice. It's your choice to move on, and just deal with it. Okay, that was a time in my life. We were young. It didn't work out. This happened, that happened. Okay, but we have a daughter, we have a son. Let's just, for your kids' sake, you know,
Yeah.
go on and be friendly with each other, and not dredge up all the old issues and the anger. Let it go, because in the end, it just makes you sick.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
manifests into dis-ease.
Yeah,
And
and you have that anger
good.
inside of you, that resentment and all that. So, but anyway,
And I just feel bad for people that go around and around and around, and they can't get out of that vicious circle. It's just it's sad to watch.
well, listen, we're about at the end of the episode, and first of all, Liz, thank you so much for being on. This is to me a fascinating topic because of what's happening out there again in the world, and people. We're going to get through this, and we'll come out better. But you got to be aware of your surroundings. Be aware of who you're with, who you want to be with, because you know what, this is a matter of life and death, and just be careful. Like Lid says, meet online. Then from there, if you feel that you could go to another level, then do it. That's it. Or like Liz says, oh, wait a minute. Oh, wait a minute. My computer. Sorry. You close your laptop
My
by
internet
accident.
just went out. Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. Well, anyway, Liz, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. It's been fun. Thank you so much for having me.
No, it's my pleasure. Take care.
Take care. Bye bye now.
Bye.